Welcome to episode 8 of our deep dive into the music of the Bay City Rollers. And today we are working on. Let me see if I can. I'm going to move my mic out of the way for a second. Today we're discussing VOXX. I really appreciate the people that listen to Dedication, Fans Remember the Bay City Rollers, and some people that I didn't even know were involved in that community, in particular Michelle Rosevear. Hold on, I'm jumping in here because I almost forgot. Michelle Rosevear was enjoying and commenting on my videos so long ago. And did you know that Michelle Rosevear won a contest to have not a phone call, but like a FaceTime or whatever with Eric Faulkner? And she talked to Eric Faulkner for like an hour and a half and shared some information with us. Incredible. I'm so happy for you. And this is a person, like literally, was liking like my covers of like Eagles Fly a long time ago. Huge fan. Loves Eric's music, loves the Bay City Rollers. I'm so happy that you got to talk to Eric. And I am not even envious or jealous. Like, people might think, it's like, I put all this work into all this and sure, I'd love to talk to Eric. I am so happy. I am so happy. I think it's a great thing that this has been done. So I'm jumping in here, and I forgot to mention all this. I'm going to jump in and jump back out. Here we go back to the original recording. Who are so familiar with this album in particular, and who did not attack me when I did a poor job of covering it the first time, but instead had like that soft sell kind of approach of, but, do you not know about this and this? And, the point is that I had this album. I paid a lot of money for this album. It's in mint condition, and I'm very fortunate to have it. And that also makes me afraid to play it too often because I was having problems with my turntable. So getting past all of that, I've listened to this quite a bit. I've become so familiar with this album. And the 4 songs that I'm choosing off of this go way up there into the top echelon of all the roller songs that I love. And I think it's a kind of unique reason as to why that happens. So I will go song by song, explaining where they came from, but there are 2 kind of special things going on here. One is that we have some stuff that didn't make it onto Elevator, right? And my assumption about that is that usually the producer is saying, we're going to take this, we're not going to take this, we're going to take this. And sometimes producers are wrong, right? But the other thing is that we have some solo music written by Duncan that they decided to put on here. And the thing about that is that Duncan's solo music is, in many ways, my favorite music of his. And I think it's for a few reasons. One, he is finally not having to deal with what does a band want? What do the fans of that band want? He just does his thing, right? But number 2 is that he had reached this level, I think, of singer-songwriter that few people are ever going to get to, right? And so since I'm talking about that, I think we may as well start with that. So he has this song, New York. He released this, I think this was the B-side of a single. B-side, incredible. Think about this as you're listening to it. B-side of a single in South Africa in 1979. Re-recorded it here. One of my favorite songs he's ever recorded, and it just shows this growth. It's just like exploding in my mind when I compare this to everything that came before. It's exploding, and then you can see I did 2 videos about his songwriting, how much I like, in particular, his solo songwriting. Things just explode, and there's just this creativity that is just going like just incredible to me. So let's start with it, right? I didn't really have a plan as to which order I was going to play everything in. Let's start with it. Fantastic song, originally released as a solo effort, as a B-side, I believe, New York.
Well, here I am after all these years in a little hole in New York City. It's a little room affair to cover me up from the snow as it falls outside onto all the streets of the famous city. Will I ever feel the cold miles and miles away from home? I hope to get to sleep, stayed up through the night after seeing half of the Broadway movie. I got up at everything, dough cocaine, and half a pound of snow on 42nd Street. See the halls pretending how they want you, till I never paid for it, miles and miles away from home. Yes, it was a real alive New York. Yes, it was a real alive New York. Yes, it was a real and alive. Could it ever break you? Could it ever make you in New York? What's that time as I think of her? Doesn't it all difference on the other side? She may well be sleeping now, so cover me up with the dreams we'd share if we could sleep tonight in this heated, cold but magic city. Could she ever hear me now, calling out? Yes, it was a real alive New York. Yes, it was a real alive New York. Yes, it was a real and alive. Could it ever break you? Could it ever make you in New York? Away from home.
Okay, so isn't that great? Like on so many levels, I really felt that his songwriting was really branching out, but also on a personal level. Like it sounds like a very personal song, you know, and his experiences at the time. But who knows, you know? I'd love to interview Duncan, but at the same time, we have interviews of Duncan on Dedication. Fans remember the Bay City Rollers, and I'll put a link actually to that. Fascinating guy. So that's one thing. Now, in the previous video that I did for Elevator, I chose I really think I chose 3 Duncan songs and then 1 Eric song. And so what happens with this album, I have to assume in the previous album when they were going through the songs and the producer's going through it, he threw out a few of Eric's songs. And they were looking for a rock album. And I like Eric from a Britpop kind of perspective, right? And so I think these songs maybe didn't fit into what they were trying to do with that previous album, but for me, it makes a lot of sense, right? And I was saying before in a previous video and in a radio show that we did that Eric's Britpop stuff kind of went crazy and was great in the late 90s. But we have some Britpop stuff on here that wouldn't have made sense perhaps in Elevator, but it's great stuff. And it's that kind of, this is the, this kind of binds up. It makes more sense for me when I listen to Eric's music about what's going on right here versus what was going on like in the Party Hardy EP and then the stuff that was to be on the album that never showed up for the Bay City Rollers. This makes more sense than some of the stuff that was on Elevator. 1 second. And since I loved that that later 90s stuff, it would make sense that I would like this as well. So thank goodness for this record, because maybe these songs would have disappeared and we wouldn't have known about them. We're going to start with Soho, which I think is a great track written by Eric.
Left on the right side of Levy.
Okay, great stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna actually pull up the so that was a song that was recorded during the elevator sessions and wasn't used. Incredible to me. I think it would have made it a better album, but then you have to think, well, what are you going to take out, right? And everyone's going to be angry about that. So let's not get into it. But great stuff, and I love the direction that Eric's going with his songwriting here. Let's move into the next one. This was also part of the elevator sessions, didn't make it on the album. It's called The Hero.
Fly like an eagle, there you go. Sing on, you restless gigolo. Don't bring your troubles back to me, 'cause I'm on the line, and I don't wanna see you around. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I say don't mess me around? 'Cause I'm already standing on the ground and I don't need your love. One bad apple doesn't spoil, now the whole bunch does. One night on the time doesn't give you the best of my love. The circus came to town to find that the hero was the clown. Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you say you've done it all wrong? 'Cause you're already standing underground and it don't need your love. One bad apple doesn't spoil, now the whole bunch does. One night on the times doesn't give you the best of my love. The circus came to town to find that the hero was the clown. See the show. The circus is in town. Let's go. Freak show. Don't be slow. Did pretty ladies in a row. Silicone Sam with the ballet band. Thought he was a lady, but he takes a chance. And here he comes. Here he comes. The day the circus came to town, it's fine that the hero was the clown.
Back in the previous video, I was talking about how with Instant Relay, Eric was kind of, and the band, because I don't think Eric was playing the Moog synthesizers, the band were playing that, but they were on top of what was going on. With this song that we just heard, in a few ways, Eric is 20 years ahead of what's going on. And so it's kind of funny because when they made the album Elevator, you're trying to hit what's hot, right? And you don't know where things are going to be in 20 years, but that song reminds me of where Blur is going to be. Is it 20 years later? 15 to 20 years later. Just incredible stuff. I love that song. And from a perspective of where music is going and where Britpop is going, the thing I really love about it is that when I was talking about the stuff that Eric was doing in the late 90s, it was kind of like, well, he could be following other trends and coming up with his music. But that song that you just heard shows that, no, he was actually ahead of the trends. But it didn't make it onto Elevator. And so as a result, though, this is an album that only made it into 2 territories, so no one heard it. Right? Even myself, I was going to say even myself. Let's get back to that in a second. I never heard it, right? Until only, I think we're going back just a few years that I finally got a copy of this. But when I say even myself, I'm such a pretentious ass. Let's be honest. I've learned so much from all of the fans of Dedication, Fans Remember the Bay City Rollers. These are the people that stuck through all the worst times and supported the band, and they supported Alan. I've seen, I live in Toronto. They came up here and supported Alan and his show, and the I don't know if you would call it a play or a musical. When it was up here, they were here. They were doing that. I wasn't there. I live in this town. I didn't even know about it. I'm a nobody. And I take a lot of knowledge from these people. So that's very important to kind of understand, right? I've said quite a bit here. I'm running, like there's so much stuff going on. Can you imagine from the first time I talked about this album where I was kind of dismissive, where I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, oh my God, this really unlocks a lot of knowledge about how great these songwriters were. Imagine Duncan and Eric were in the same band writing songs. Imagine, I was talking with some other people today. Dave Payton was in the Bay City Rollers at one point in time. Another substantial, incredible songwriter. It is shocking to think about the number of great songwriters associated with this band. Okay, but we have to move on, and we have to eventually finish things. What do we have next? Let me check. Okay, yeah, so I almost forgot. We have next Only the Young Die Old, some more acoustic stuff. And so that's something else that I should mention, is that I was talking a long time ago, and we've done so many videos about how I love their acoustic music, and here it comes out on this album. We have some acoustic stuff going on. It's absolutely great. We're ending off tonight with Only the Young Die Old. And I just want to say, it's fascinating hearing that from Eric's perspective, I'm talking about Eric right now, how he had the finger-picking kind of guitar stuff before, how he had the acoustic guitar stuff before, and he was a singer-songwriter. And then you bring Duncan into that, also a singer-songwriter, and how he is maturing. All really, really incredible stuff. It's funny to me that this is now such an emotional album to me when I listen to these 4 songs. But live and learn. But thank you once again to all the people that were not insulting, but inspiring in listening to this music. We're going to go out on this one. I don't think I'm coming back. Listen to this great tune, Only the Young Die Old.
tell you how high the sky. Did anyone explore you? It's easy if you try. You say your life ain't easy, living for the day. Your strength is in the knowing that there is another way. Yes, you are one. You are, you see, it's clear to me that you are still sleeping. Did anybody hear you when you said there's more than day-to-day assertions? Did you find an open door? Journey through the high now. Let your spirit free. The present was tomorrow. It's so easy if you see. But only the young die on. Only fools are free. And time is a passing phase. So who holds the key? Yes, you are one. You are, you see, it's clear to me that you are still dreaming.